to Gullah Business of Charleston. I'm Tiffany Savage, the Vice President of Gullah Business of Charleston, and I have here with me the President, Nicole Pringle.
Hello, everyone.
So we're here today for another exciting feature with Cristofher Griffin. He is, oh my goodness, the best way I can explain it, he is a phenomenal actor. He's in entertainment. He also has a social media profile that you can follow on Instagram. And we're going to be chopping it up this evening with him, talking about the influence of representation in entertainment, as well as what led him into this venture. Is very exciting. I know a lot of people think about our business, our platform, they just only think about the business aspect of it, but entertainment itself is a business. And we want to make sure that we support our people in entertainment, as well as know what's going on and why it's so important that we have representation in entertainment. So welcome again, Chris, and thank you for taking the opportunity to meet with us. I appreciate it out of your busy schedule, because I know it's busy right now.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for reaching out.
Thank you. So just to start off with the first question, what led you into entertainment? What even prompted you to do it?
Oh man, growing up as a shy, awkward kid in Columbia, South Carolina, I was around my grandparents a lot, and I didn't know at the time, but a lot of my grandparents' friends that were in the community, they were actually very influential Black figures in Columbia and in South Carolina in general. So I was always around people who I did not realize had their hand in entertainment and the arts. I remember a funny story where, my grandfather, Jim Davis, God rest his soul, he used to be a booking agent in Sumter. So he was always booking a bunch of acts, a lot of back in the 60s and 70s before he moved up to Columbia. And one in particular night, he was having a party, and I was about 5 or 6, and I would sneak up just so I could see what was going on, and I'd see if I could get some food too. And I'm up there with my t-shirt and my pajamas on, and this Black man picks me up. And I remember, the only thing I distinctly remember was just how deep and rich his voice was. So he picks me up and he's like, "Do you know who I am, little boy?" I'm like, "No." I just shook my head no, because I had no idea. And he just laughs and puts me back down, and I just go on about my way before my granddaddy found me and told me to go back to bed. I didn't find out until years later that was Lou Rawls.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes. So I had always been one of those kids, growing up an only child. I was always finding ways to be creative. I was always hanging Legos up on the wall and just creating my own little stories with my action figures and things like that. So the creativity was already in me. It was already in my bones. And acting was something that really didn't spark my interest until I had gotten into middle school. And I was in those years where I was still growing up. I was still trying to understand who I was as a person. I was a shy and awkward kid, very goofy, glasses, didn't know how to talk to girls, just kept to myself a lot. But acting was something that I really, really wanted to try, but I just didn't know how to go about it. And I never tried out for drama or anything like that in middle and high school. And it was just always something that was in the back of my mind. And I never really took the chance or opportunity to, go further into it. And it wasn't until halfway through college where my advisor told me, in order for me to graduate on time, I needed to pick up a minor. And at the time, there were only two classes left. One was philosophy 101, and the other one was acting 101. I didn't even know what philosophy consisted of at the time. So I was like, let me just go ahead and take acting 101. I mean, maybe I can just get an easy A out the class. So what happened with that is, one night at Booker T. Washington auditorium, I was waiting for a couple of my classmates so we could go over a scene for class. And they were holding auditions, the student production of the play, Women in Wallace. The girl who was directing it came out and asked me, "Are you here to read for the play?" And I was like, "No, I'm just sitting here waiting for classmates." And She said, well, okay, well, if you want to come in and audition, you're more than welcome to. So about 15 minutes goes by and my classmates still haven't shown up. So I was like, okay, let me just kill time and go in here. So I auditioned, read with a couple of other students, this and that. The director said, well, we'll send out emails, just write your email and phone number down. A couple of days later, I wind up getting the lead role. So for the next 3 months, I was given the task of being the lead in my first ever stage production, where I was going to be on stage basically the entire time. I had 6 monologues I had to memorize, and by the grace of God, I was able to memorize them. And I had gotten so much positive reviews from my classmates and some of my theater professors at the time. I started thinking to myself, maybe I can pursue this a little bit more seriously, after college. So I graduated in 2009. 2010 to 2015 are what I would consider my wandering years in my acting career. I didn't have an agent, wasn't sure how to break into the business. And these are also the years that kind of molded me and allowed me to progress to where I am now. Because in 2010, I met my mentor, LaShawn Hopkins of New Life Productions in Columbia, South Carolina. She basically is the key. She's the key element into me being where I'm at now, one of them. And I'm forever grateful for meeting her. We've had our moments where I've filmed with her and she has pushed me as an actor, where it got to the point where I couldn't even speak to her for a week because I was just that upset with her. But she got the performance that she got out of me, and it made me a better actor. And because of her, I was turned on to the Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, the American Black Film Festival. Because of these things, I was able to get a free education in how to become a working actor. And then 2015, I signed with my agency, Coastal Talent, out of Charleston. And I've been with them. This is my 9th year with them. But because of my agent, I also got my first ever speaking role on The Resident in 2018. So it's been an uphill journey, not in the sense where I've had to have any major setbacks or downfalls, but it's just me paying my dues. And I'm forever grateful for the path that I've gone down. So it kind of worked out. It kind of worked out for the better because there's no real definite answer as to what I could have been doing had I decided to be a little bit more confident as a kid. But I always say things happen for a reason, and I'm grateful for where I'm at in my career right now.
Yeah. So what has been your most favorite role that you played?
Oh, let's see. Because I've been doing 2021 to 20 up to now. I've been on 3 projects. The first one is my first feature film, Another Christmas from Stacey Davis Films. We've also done a series on Impact Television Network, Hanging with the Taylors, with Ryan Toby from City High. And I just recently wrapped another film with Stacey Davis, a Halloween film scheduled to come out later on this year. I would say my favorite role so far that I've done would be my role as Josh on Hanging with the Taylors. I'm basically playing the best friend of Ryan Toby. And what I love about that role so much is I appreciate directors who give me the chance as an actor to, go a little bit deeper through the subtext and add my own little quips and quirks that make me the person I am and add them to the character to give them a little extra layer of depth. And it's a funny and hilarious role. And, I'm always getting told by people that I work with that I am one of the best improvisationists that they've ever worked with. So I'm given a chance to just kind of make it my own character without veering too far from the material and still respecting the writer's description of the character. So Josh is probably my favorite role so far. And Hanging with the Taylors season 1 is on Film Barrel Studios on YouTube. Episode 1 is up right now. Episode 2 will be dropping soon. So check it out whenever you can.
I have another question. You was talking about improv, and in the characters you've already done, what is like your dream character? Like, what is something outside of the box you like? I would want to tackle that kind of character.
Um, I've always had people telling me that I'm funny, that I've been, I don't want to say unfairly labeled, I will never say that, but I've been told that I am a very good comedic actor. And something that I've always learned about comedic actors, they tend to make some of the best dramatic actors as well. So
Mm.
drama is actually something I am going a little bit further into right now, whether it be on stage or in movies, and just kind of being able to just show my true range as an actor, because I'm one of those people where I'm always saying how, you don't want to get yourself stuck into one little box. You don't want to necessarily just do comedy all the time. Do comedy 1 second, then next second you're doing drama, and then you can pivot from drama, and then you're doing stage work, you're doing theater and Shakespeare. So I try to be well rounded. But looking at my resume, I do want to go a little bit deeper into more dramatic work as I progress in my career.
I could see you being a detective, like somebody
Uh-huh.
at the scene of the crime, like,
Law and Order, SVU.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like, yeah, deep like that.
Look, I wouldn't mind getting some of that SVU residual money. So yeah, let's go. I'll do it.
They got good royalty money because as many episodes be
And it's in
coming out.
syndication.
Like,
Yes.
come on now. So this leads me to another point. You touched on it briefly about just like some of the roles that you pick, but how do you pretty much when you select your roles, does it ever pop in your mind how this is going to be like received in the community? Is this like, for instance, like if you were to do a role of detective, how would you pick your roles and how they are going to proceed in the community? Like, is it based on detective that you know or situations that you heard of?
One thing I do as an actor when I'm preparing for a role, I always do my research. I'm always starting off giving my character a background. I'll give them an upbringing, what are their likes, their dislikes, where they went to college, things like that. Something I'm always partial to is I try to base a lot of my characters off of people that I've grown up around, that I've been around, their mannerisms, what they've done that has rubbed off on me and made me a better person, things like that. So character development is something that I've always just taken very, very care of when crafting these characters, because what I like to do, I like for there to be balance. You
Mm.
know, I want for there to be characters that look like us, but I don't want our skin color to always be the focal point of the story, because there's plenty of stories out here that feature all black cast where their race is not their race is not the focal point of the story. Anybody can relate to the material. It's just a matter of how you perceive it. And I want people to just perceive it as not necessarily a black story, but just a story, a story that's being told very well.
I want to know, like, how do you prepare for your roles? Like, trying to memorize everything, and then you got another show, you got to remember those lines. Like, I always wanted to know, how does that work? Like, how do you even get started doing that?
Memorizing lines has never been crazy enough. It's never been an issue for me. Um, I've always been one of those kids who was always reading. I remember being in church having to memorize Bible scriptures every Sunday,
Hmm.
and I was one of the few kids who just did not have trouble remembering the lines. And like my grandma would always be like, "You need to memorize it. You need to memorize it." And I was like, "Yeah, I got it the first time, Grandma. I'm good." And then like Sunday, I would be up on stage, the king of the joy and the king of the peace, had a love that would not, had a joy that would not cease. Things like that. Memorizing lines has just never been a difficult task for me. The problem has always been how to deliver the lines. That
Mm.
will not even, I'm not even going to say that's been the problem. That the fun part about that aspect is, how am I going to deliver these lines? How would this character say this? How would this character react like that? That's always been the best part about memorization.
Mm.
Okay.
I have a question. I know I have a lot of questions, but
You got a lot
who's
of
your
questions,
favorite?
Nikki.
No, because I'm like, I always, these are questions I always wanted to know. But like, who is your favorite actor?
You got time? Hold on. Wow.
Because
Oh,
I mean, I have my favorite, but I'm not even in this profession, so I'm like, I
it's
wonder who's your favorite.
the crazy.
Kind of put
Oh,
him on the spot to narrow down some people. If it's
the
deceased people,
crazy
he good.
6 people.
I said the deceased people, he be good, but these, if he works around them, he can't be like one person and then they're like, how
Oh
about me?
no, but like everybody usually says Denzel, especially he has a new
Mhm.
movie coming out. Like,
Oh
for
yeah.
me, I have a lot, so I have like
Okay,
three probably.
these aren't my top 5, but I'll give you 5 of my favorite actors, whether they're living or deceased.
Mm.
And I'm gonna actually, and Denzel's that's my dude. But let me take him out because saying Denzel it's a cliche. It's a cliche response.
Everybody
Mhm.
uses Denzel.
Yes, everybody
Mhm.
says Denzel. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Mm.
Hold up, I really got to think. I really got to think. Mm, Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to go out of the box a little bit. I got 3 left. I'm trying to go out of the box. Um, oh, my man, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in
Oh
peace.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Chadwick
Mhm.
Boseman. I was one of those. I was one of those people who a lot of people's introduction to Chadwick was Black Panther, but I remember Chadwick when he was on All My Children.
Mm. Mm.
Wow.
Chadwick Boseman. Um, who else? Tom Hardy. And you know, a lot of people probably do not know who he is, but Toshiro Mifune. He is a Japanese actor from the 50s and 60s, and one of his most famous roles was Seven Samurai. But he has always been one of my favorite actors because of his expressionism and how a lot of his performances were based off of his facial expressions and body movement, things like that. So that's something that I'm always conscious of when I'm doing film work, especially because I'm fully aware that the camera is always going to pick up my emotions. So I don't really even have to do much, but I have to be conscious of it because I know it has to come. It has to be 100%. I am a little bit of a perfectionist. It has to be authentic for me. So seeing people like him perform and how it was just so effortlessly done, it makes me just want to go harder for my craft. But those are my top 5.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm gonna get to the tough questions. So I clearly have never did an audition other than I don't even count the ones in middle school or high school. But let's say I've never done any of them, but I can only imagine when you audition for these pieces, um, rejection is one of those things. How do you handle you being rejected from a role?
I don't take it personal. That's really in this business. That's the only thing you can do. Not take it personal, because 99% of the time, it's not personal. It's a business.
Mhm.
And then there could be plenty of factors that work against you when auditioning for the role. You might have a great audition. You might actually book it. No, not book it. You might actually nail the role. You did everything. The casting director liked you. The producers like you. The director likes you. You think you got it in the bag, but then somebody could come along that looks the part. You were able to act a part, but this person has that look that they're looking for. So instinctively, they're going to go for that person, even though you put forth the heart and the soul and made that role your own, even if it's just an audition. But you can't take it personal because that's how the business works, unfortunately.
Mm. I'm gonna backtrack something because we were talking about um, different roles that you want to try, and somebody said, comedy, like a comedic role. I was going to talk about your social media because when Tiffany told me about you, she sent me a clip of one of the videos that you had on your Instagram about, what was it, Tiffany? Something about banana pudding? What was
A
it?
banana pudding. Your grandma must be 33 because you don't understand. My cousin, we're gonna do a tour. It was postponed a little bit, but we're going on a banana pudding tour. And this is before I reached out to you. So when we
Yeah.
saw it, it was funny.
So
It was
okay.
funny as all get up.
So here's the thing about comedy for me. What makes the key to comedy for me is to not be funny. Think about it like this. Think of the funniest person that you know. And it's always somebody who's dead serious. Am I right?
Yeah, my mom.
It's all, that's how it is. So that's how I always approach comedy. Because comedy, for a lot of people will tell you, comedy is tougher to do than drama. But I think a lot of it has to do with people thinking that they have to be funny. And no, you don't have to be funny. You have to do the opposite. You can't, don't approach the material being funny. Try not to be funny. That's when you get some of the funniest, that's when you get some of the funniest dialogue or scenes ever. Just like with my IG posts, like a lot of that stuff, believe it or not, is just random thoughts that I have throughout the day. So me sitting on the porch eating a bag of chips, that's literally just me thinking about stuff. And then it just resonates. And the reactions that I get from my followers, I had one of my followers literally one of the clips. I don't know what the caption was, but I was sitting in my rocking chair, just really just thinking about it. And she replied and said, "The fact that you are sitting there with that look on your face, die hard thinking about it, has me in tears." And I was just like, I was just being dead serious.
That was so funny. She sent that to me. I'm like, I can't.
Well, yeah, saying that banana pudding, you don't think banana pudding is the goat? Your grandma must be 33 years old. And I was like,
Yeah.
dang, just
Because who
go.
don't know about that? Banana pudding, like we literally we're gonna go on a tour because that's how serious it is with this banana pudding thing.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
At the restaurant, no lie. Here she go. If she wants dessert, I wonder if they got banana pudding. Do they got banana pudding around here? A place around here get banana pudding? That's how serious she is about banana pudding.
And bring it out with my food too. I want it at the same time. They get so
Same
confused when
time.
that happens.
That
was hilarious.
And the other stuff too. Like he be, I ain't gonna put you on the spot, but dag, big forehead women, we need love too. He be putting us on the spot. Yes, he should.
A lot of people with big foreheads out there.
We got big foreheads out here. I'm okay with mine, but it's like, dang, he really be thinking about this stuff.
Sometimes you got too much time on your hands. It's just random thoughts. Like we all have these random thoughts in our head, but only a handful of us are willing to just say them out loud.
And be honest, huh?
And be honest.
So whoever's watching this, clearly check out his Instagram, not only for his talent, he'll tell you all the stuff he's doing. He has insightful posts and he has some stuff for comedic relief. So come up there. You will be entertained. Because some of the stuff, we were just dying. But another question I would say, what advice would you give someone who's venturing into the entertainment, acting, theater world? What advice would you give them on how to start?
Well, the first thing I would ask them is this what you really want to do? And when I ask them that, it's kind of to get a gauge of where they want to go, because you've got people that, say they just want to dabble in acting and just do it as a hobby. But you've got people who also say, I want to make a career out of this. And for the ones who want to make a career out of it, I'm upfront and I'm honest with them. You got to pay your dues. You got to put the work in. Sometimes you've got those rare instances where people become just famous overnight, based after just a short time in the industry. But for the most part, you have to pay your dues. You have to put that work in, whether it be acting lessons, supporting yourself, doing background work, commercials, working your way up. It's all about paying your dues. I'd also tell them just have a very strong sense of self when you come into this industry, because
Mm,
it's at the end of the day, it's a business, and it can be overwhelming, and it could get to the point where you might you might feel as if this isn't what you want to do. And if that is the case, that's fine. But always have a backup plan. But just understand yourself as a person and understand what your journey is going to become, and allow for your journey to have room to make you a better person as you progress in your career. I try to be just as I try to be as positive as I can when giving people advice, but I also like to be 100% honest with them as well. You're gonna hear 8 million no's before you hear that one life changing yes. But when you hear that one life changing yes, you're good, especially if you make it your own, especially if you're just grateful. You understand your place in the business and you know where you want to go from there. It's just all of how you make it.
Mm. So we're winding down to the end, but do you have any upcoming projects? And what's your goals in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself?
Okay. Got a couple of projects coming up. I've got a movie coming out next year. Well, I'm not gonna say next year. We're still we haven't heard anything from it yet, but a Rebel Wilson movie titled Ride Hard should be coming up soon. I worked on that in Savannah last year. I've
Nice.
got the aforementioned Halloween movie with Stacey Davis Films coming out soon. It's a funny comedy movie. I'm reunited again with my co-stars from Hanging with the Taylors, Ryan Toby. Shout out to him. Shout out to Lala Black. Follow them on Instagram as well. They're good peoples, very talented. Everybody knows Ryan Toby from Sister Act and City High, man. Like that's my dude
Mm-hmm.
right there. But I reunited with them. We've got that coming out soon. I've got a sitcom coming out soon with Film Barrel Studios called Vibes. It's kind of like, you remember the show Cheers?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an urban version of Cheers.
Oh, wow.
So I've been working on it. I've been pretty busy the last couple of months, just doing a lot of projects that are coming out soon. I've also got a movie coming out soon on Lifetime called Separated Sisters. So look out for my social media. I'll be posting all of this stuff soon. But I've just been working back to back to back to back on that. So everything just happened in such a quick time span. So everything is still in post production. So no trailers or anything have dropped yet. But when they do, you guys will definitely see it.
Nice.
And where I see myself within the next 5 years or so, honestly, just being a working actor. And that could be in any capacity, whether it be working in movies consistently or working on film, working on television, having a recurring role, just as long as I'm a working actor, as long as I'm able to make a career out of this to the point where I can sustain myself 100% on that, that's the ultimate plan. And to get that residual money. Shout out to SAG.
Yeah.
mhm. Okay, so we always end all of our features with this question right here. What what would you say are three words that describe your passion for entertainment and theater, and why did you choose them, or why would you select them at all?
My three words: authentic. Ugh, I got tongue tied. I'm sorry. Authenticity, vulnerability, and creativity. I chose authenticity because I want any character that I portray to be believable. I like for my characters to have depth. I like for my characters to be layered. I want for them to be relatable. I want you to laugh. I want you to cry. I want you to be uncomfortable with me, because as an actor, that's what I have to be. There are going to be times where I have to be uncomfortable. There are going to be times where I have to bring out emotions that I could be hiding from the world. There are times where I could be sharing a hilarious story with you, and you won't even understand the full concept of it because I'm saying it in a way that relates to the character as opposed to me as a person. But you're still laughing with me. So getting that a reaction out of you is what truly matters. Vulnerability. That's something that I had to work on as an actor, especially early on in my career. I, how do I put this? I've always had such, I've always had a difficult time just kind of being open and expressing myself, especially as a Black man. And I found myself, just holding in a lot of energy that wasn't necessarily tumultuous, but it was just things that I didn't feel like I was able to talk about with anybody, things that I wasn't able to get out with anybody. And a turning point for me was August 5th, 2018. And two important things happened. Well, two life-changing things happened that day. That was the day that I booked The Resident, which I hold that high because that's my first ever primetime speaking role on a television series. And that was also the day my grandfather passed away.
Mhm.
So I had gotten to the point where I had considered not even taking the role because there was a lot of stuff going on with my head and just not processing that him passing away. And because my grandfather was one of my biggest supporters. He was there when I wrote my first ever play and had it and got it produced by Stage 5 Theater back in 2014 in Columbia. He's always been there. He was there the first night when I did Women in Wallace, and he always bragged to everybody about me. So he'd been one of my biggest supporters. And, just even through that time when he was alive, I just never had I never had the need to just express all of these feelings because he was almost a comfort zone to me. And then I never really had to do that. And him passing away forced me to just be a little bit more honest with myself and a little bit more vulnerable with myself, and I'm a very staunch supporter of therapy. And that's something that has helped me as well. And it's allowed for me to be okay with just having these feelings and being able to just express them out into the world without feeling any type of judgment or shame. And I'm thankful for going down that road because doing that allowed for me to just become a better actor. It's allowed for me to be more comfortable in these roles. It's the work is already there in the script. It's just a matter of me bringing it to life. And me being able to feel vulnerable within myself allows for me to make this character feel vulnerable within the subtext. And then lastly, creativity. I get a lot of creativity from my mom. I'm surprised y'all didn't see that
Oh.
the video with us and when she fell down.
Mm-hmm.
From my mother. My creativity is my driving force. Like I said, being a shy and awkward kid, I did not understand the talent that I had until I was in an environment where I was able to just kind of understand that I didn't know I could act. I got around an environment where I was like, I didn't realize I was this good of a writer. And these are things that I'm so passionate and appreciative of because I understand like not everybody, and this isn't a dig at anybody. I feel like anybody has the potential to be creative, but a lot of people don't know how to go about that creativity. And it took me a while to find my path into what I like to do and what I don't like to do. But being creative is something that I think drives us all. For me, being creative within the film industry is what drives me. For my mom, her creativity lies in her crocheting, her artwork, things like that. So creativity is something that I always try to just be very honest and upfront about. And I'm always telling people you can be creative if you actually try. It might not necessarily be in the same industry that I'm in, but you have a creative streak. It's just a matter of you finding it and what part of life it best suits you for. So those are my three.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you again, Chris, for taking the opportunity to join us for this feature. If anyone wants to follow Chris, you can find him on Instagram at everybody love Chris. And we'll share the tag too, because of course it's that special spelling.
Yes.
So we'll make sure to share it. So you guys can go ahead and find him on Instagram. And again, his posts are very, to us, like, I could speak for our family. It's very relatable. With your mom, that's relatable. Like the banana pudding. Also too, just check out and support him. He also has different pieces that he's worked on with his different upcoming projects. So check him on out, follow him, make sure to like and share. And so, hey, Nicole, you have anything that you would like to say before we close? Anything out?
Thank you for coming on. This was awesome. I got to answer questions that weren't on the thing. You let me do that.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna ask these questions. I'm getting this out.
Thank you so much for having me.
So anytime you have an upcoming project or is anything else coming on, anytime you want to come on and talk to us and let us know anything, just let us know and we'll schedule, you on in. And I know you're busy, but thank you so much for coming on.
No. I'm never too busy for another Black content creator. So absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And before we leave, please share one more time your upcoming project in October so everybody will be prepared to tune in, and also to the episodes that are on YouTube.
Okay. Hanging with the Taylors on Film Barrel Studios. I'm always posting the links for that. Episode 2 should be dropping soon. We've got our Halloween movie, which doesn't have a title yet, but it is coming soon in October. Brideheart will be coming out soon, and Separated Sisters on Lifetime will be dropping soon. So look out for the trailer. It'll be on my Instagram page very soon.
Thank you again. Well, I hope you have a great evening.